The weather was perfect for climbing. The bright sunshine and the light breeze fueled up everyone for the next day's summit push. We have been striving for this very moment, and almost for a year now.
Yesterday we shifted from camp 1 to camp 2, and in the afternoon time, did some road shifting near the coal, which is at 5550 meters, and now we are all are set to go for the summit push within maybe half an hour.
We started at 3:30 am. The summit push was for almost 1100 meters. We all set forth in head torch lights, but just within an hour or so, Pawan had to quit due to his backache. But yet, we continued and tried to keep each other's morale high. When the rising dawn infused warmth in our body, it was like a really big relief. But our eyes didn't find the view to be so pleasant. The weather wasn't looking good anymore. The weather wasn't getting any better. And on top of this, time was also running very fast. But still, they kept going. Mount CB13 at 6264 meter is the highest peak of Chandrabhaga range in Lahaul district of Himachal Pradesh. Situated in South Dhaka Glacier, it is a technically challenging peak with endless moraine fields, ever-expanding crevasses, and a trickle of loose rocks. One needs to be a sound ice, rock, and snow craftsman to attempt this peak.
Giripremi was founded in 1982 with the motive of promoting mountaineering sports in our society. Since then, Giripremi has organized several expeditions in Sahyadris and Himalayas. These youngsters, Vivek, Pawan, Sanket, Jayant, the Golden Gang, they have always climbed in Sahyadri together, and Sahyadri bonded them even stronger. And now they wanted to climb a Himalayan peak. Giripremi always encouraged its mountaineers to take up new challenges. This expedition could be a great option for new members to have a mountaineering experience in Himalayas. So I have suggested to take Varuna and Lokesh also. And thus, on eve of Dussehra, the expedition was launched.
The Golden Gang is always in hunt for exciting challenges, and CB13 wasn't going to be an easy affair at all. It was a relatively remote peak, but we tried to gather every piece of information we could. Of course, we didn't want to fight like blind swordsmen. So we trained hard, daily. Hill running, gym sessions, rock climbing, and so on. For Himalayan expeditions especially, the load ferry proved to be an effective means of training. But the extensive rock climbing which we had already done actually provided a strong technical base. We also paid special attention to our diet, be it mountain research, travel plans, fundraising, sponsorships, equipment. We planned everything right from scratch. It was an extremely steep learning curve for each one of us, and by first week of July, the whole team was all set for the expedition. 8th of July, we were in Manali. Manali is like a gateway to many mountaineering aspirations in Himachal Pradesh. Mr. Khemraj Thakur, with his unique Pahadi style, welcomed all of us at his campsite. We spent next 2 days acclimatizing around beautiful hills of Manali and packing up essential gear and food. Our focus was to keep the food items light, easy to pack, yet healthy. And our gear was also meticulously chosen. Lesser the merrier was our motto. On 10th of July early morning, we left to Batal. The roads in Spiti regions are notoriously known as extremely risky means of transport. Hats off to the drivers who maneuver heavy machines through these terrifying regions so swiftly and so confidently. After 8 hours of bumpy ride, we reached Batal. From Pune's monsoon weathers to Manali's cozy and cold drizzling rains, we were now in cold deserts of Spiti, dominated by mighty Himalayan peaks. But here at Batal, we had already gained 7,000 feet altitude, and we were now at 13,000 feet. Immediate movement to the next altitude could have led to acute mountain sickness. It was very essential to acclimatize at Batal. So we decided to rest at Batal and get used to the new climate for next 2 days. The trek to base camp was along the river Chandra, and one of the obstacles was to cross the infamous Pagal Nala. The water came from the glacier. Then during the afternoon, due to high water levels, the stream couldn't have been crossed. So it was very important for us to cross the stream very early in the morning. From Batal, we had trekked for 5 hours along the banks of river Chandra. We set up our base camp at the snout of South Dhaka Glacier. From here, Camp 1 was at 4900 meters. We had to cross the moraine field, followed by the glacier covered with icy sheets. And to finish off the things, a steep climb of 100 meters through terrible wrinkle of rocks would take us to the Camp 1. Camp 1 to Camp 2 trek is a moderate level trek through moraines and glacier. From Camp 2, the summit push is of 1100 meters. It involved negotiating hidden crevasses, rock gullies, icy slopes, and in the final push, a steep rocky section leading up to the summit. Things were going as per the plan till now. All were fit. Healthy diet and ample fluids kept us fueled up and hydrated. But while going to Camp 1, the situation began to change.
We started climbing towards Camp 1, but during the hike, I started getting a headache. I thought it was a part of acclimatization, so I kept walking. But when we reached Camp 1, it became even severe. So, for further safety reasons, after staying a night at Camp 1, we decided that I return to the base camp.
And my case was even worse. When we reached base camp, I started feeling severe headaches, which was a sign of migraine, which I have a big history with. but I didn't have it for 4 years, so I wasn't sure that it would come up now. So during our hike towards Camp 1, I started feeling headaches, severe headaches, and I thought this was the symptoms which could be fatal for me on the altitude, so I decided to stay back.
It wasn't safe anymore for them to continue any further. Loss of two climbers forced us to lower our backpacks much more than we had planned. But the first glimpse of the peak brought a very beautiful smile on everyone's face. The moraine was unending, and now the trek to Camp 2 went through a terrain that was less a glacier but a graveyard more. As per the stories in newspaper, back in 1968, Indian Army plane had crashed here, and all the crew of 98 soldiers had died. Since then, countless Indian Army expeditions took place in South Dhaka Glacier to retrieve the dead bodies, and they did succeed to a certain extent, but unfortunately failed to recover the black box. So the airplane crash is still a mystery. And here, we were marching through a graveyard, imagining the whole series of events that had occurred.
It was very hard to lose the company of our brothers. Varun and Jayant were a bit nervous since this was their first Himalayan expedition. And CB13 turned out to be much more challenging than what we had anticipated. But the beautiful weather at the camp and the glowing north face of CB13 motivated all of us to proceed with double the energy. And finally, the day of summit attempt arose. We were struggling up the northwest face of CB13. The weather was getting worse, and the time was running out. When I was climbing through a rock gully, two loose rocks hit straight to my knees. It was very painful. I was already getting exhausted, and now I was injured as well. But such a steep face was no place to take a halt or stop, because Varun was following me. So I somehow managed to reach a safe ledge, which was at 5800 meters. And from there on, Varun and Vivek continued.
We hardly went 100 meters above when the weather worsened even more. So, considering the bad weather and anticipating the risk in continuing, Vivek called off the expedition and looked forward for the safe return of every one of us to the base camp.
The expedition was over now. We were back in Manali. We also preponed our tickets back to Pune, and thus we all had accepted the reality.
I couldn't believe that the efforts of all our team were now meant for nothing. The sheer idea of being part of Giripremi's team was like a big thing for entire team, each one of us. We had been training meticulously for almost a year. We raised funds. We worked so hard for this singular goal. But right in front of our eyes, our dream was getting shattered, and that had left all of us in complete dismay.
It was a big disappointment for all of us, since CB13 was our dream and we couldn't do it.
I think this retreat gave deep wounds for all of us, and still we wouldn't talk to each other, but the thought of success was still lingering in our mind, and this pain gave rise to our idea of reattempt.
I received a call from Vivek. At that time, I was in Kathmandu for my Manaslu expedition preparation. Hearing the complete story of CB13, I was a little bit disturbed and shocked also. I asked Vivek whether he was prepared for second attempt. Listening to me, Vivek was he was excited and was a little bit hurry for the second attempt. I stopped him. I further made some enquiries with the main guide of CB13, Mr. Negi, about Vivek's physical and mental fitness and also about the safety of the mountain for the second attempt. Because now Vivek was alone, ready for the second attempt. I discussed with Khemraj Thakur from Manali for further preparation. When everything was all well, I gave signal to Vivek and Vivek was again back to CB13.
And then everything got decided so rapidly. The decision of reattempt revitalized team's hopes for the success and changed the mood completely. New guide Chandi, support member Gopal and Vivek sat out at 3 am on 25th of July for Badal. Each hour was important, each day was important. They had a breakfast at Badal and without spending any more time, they immediately moved to base camp. Next day to Camp 1, then to Camp 2. Instead of Camp 2, they decided to pitch tent at Cole so as to save crucial early morning times during the final summit push. We are at an altitude of 5500 meters. Along with me, there's Chandiji and Gopal. Our summit is at 6264 meters altitude, so around 700 meters approximately is still to go. Our plan today is to take rest now till 2 am at night, and at 2 am we intend to go for a summit push. We expect to reach the summit approximately around 8 or 9 am in the morning. Starting at 2:30 am on 20th, steadily they kept marching in headlamps light, negotiated the icy hard slopes, the rock gullies. The vertical rock walls slowed their progresses, but inch by inch, balancing in awkward positions, they zoomed up and finally reached a landmark stone just 10 meters below the summit. And at 9 am, finally, all three of them reached the summit. Tricolor fluttered and Giripremi flag was raised high on the summit of CB13. The mission that was exactly 10 days ago aborted is now accomplished. Just in 5 days, overcoming all obstacles, the team had done what otherwise would have remained undone. What is it that drives mankind to come again and again to the mountains? The summit, the success, the praise and the glamour? Perhaps in a deeper sense, all that really don't matter. They go hide deep in your backpacks of memories. What really matters is the realization that being in mountains, each moment is testing us at every step with newer and newer challenges, giving us an opportunity to raise our potential beyond what we had imagined. We fail, we suffer, but they give us a chance to rise up again. So what really matters is the next step we take, and in that very step, we find our newer self. We realize that we have the strength to get up. We learn to deal with pains and sufferings, and we learn to heal and help others heal. We become sensitive to things around us and grow confident as we march forward. Simply put, we transform and begin to understand who we truly are. Then what else do we really want?